Hello friends, welcome back to the new tutorial. Today we are going to learn about the Angular promise, understanding and the implementation. Those who haven't subscribed my channel yet, please do subscribe my channel. And if you like the video, please do like, share and comment on my video. Let's get started. So Angular is a popular front-end framework that is widely used for building web applications. One of the key features of the Angular is to support for the asynchronous programming through the use of promises. Promises are the way to handle the asynchronous operations and provide a way to handle the results of those operations. What is promise? Promise is an object that represents the eventual completion or failure of a asynchronous operation. A promise can be one of the three states: pending, fulfilled, rejected. Right? Pending means the initial state of a promise. Promise is neither fulfilled nor rejected. Fulfilled. The state of a promise when the asynchronous operation is successful and the result is available. Rejected. The state of a promise when the asynchronous operation fails and an error is thrown. Promises are commonly used in JavaScript to handle the asynchronous operations such as fetching the data from a servers or performing the animations. How promise work? Promises work by providing a way to handle the result of the asynchronous operations once it is complete. When promise is created, it is in the pending state. Once the asynchronous operation is complete, the promise is either fulfilled or rejected. If the promise is fulfilled, the result of the operation is passed to the function that is registered with the then method. If the promise is rejected, then the error is passed to the function that is registered with the catch method. Using promises in Angular, Angular provides a built-in implementation of promises through the promises class. This class is used to create new promises and handle the results of the asynchronous operations. Angular's handling of the promises is similar to the JavaScript's native promises but integrates well with the Angular's asynchronous operations, particularly through the services like HTTP client, while the Angular primarily use observable for the asynchronous operations. Promises still play a role, especially in the cases where promises are required or preferred. For instance, with the some of the third-party libraries or when working with the legacy code. Promises in Angular are beneficial for dealing with the operations that return a single value, like HTTP request. They can be changed with then and the catch to handle both success and the failure, making the code more readable and manageable. So this is the template for the service. Okay, this is a service file, right? And where we are doing the fetching the data from the API and returning the response. So this is the syntax that we are saying: fetch the promise and return the new promise, whether it's to be resolved, whether it's to be reject. Okay, so reject goes to the catch block and it is resolved, then it go with the then block. Okay, resolve, handle success, resolving the promises with the data. Handle failure, rejecting the promises with an error. Okay, creating a promise: the fetch data method creates a promise that encapsulates the asynchronous operations of fetching the data from an API. The HTTP request: this .http.get any API data makes HTTP GET request using the Angular's HTTP client. The GET method returns an observable, but using to promise converts into a promise. Okay, chaining dot then and dot catch. Dot then is called when the promise is resolved successfully, when the data is retrieved successfully. Dot catch is called when the promise is rejected, when there is an error refetching the data such as network issue or 404, the catch block. And this is our then block. Okay, then we have a to promise, right? So this is that one, to promise. Okay, so here you can see HTTP request. The this dot HTTP dot get API data makes HTTP get request using the Angular's HTTP client. The get method returns an observable. Okay, so the get method, it will return an observable, but using to promise convert into the promise. Okay, let's take an example with the JSON placeholder API. Okay, so this is basically data service. So here I'm going to call this services. Okay, and then we are going to handling the response in the component. Okay, so let's create that service in the services. Okay, so we have the services file, right? So here also I think there is already calling the API. Let's update with this our promises. Okay, so here it says that the promises are depreciated. The declaration was marked as depreciated, right? So you can just change with what I will give you the like what we can. I will give a new tutorial for the what is the replacement for the promise, right? So currently it worked. Okay. So here fetching the post from the JSON placeholder API and returning a promise, right? So fetch post, promise, new promise, resolve or reject. So here we are calling the JSON placeholder API with the HTTP client method. Okay, and here convert the observable to the promise, and in the then if the response is there, then post or fetch successfully, resolve response, resolve the promise with the fetch data. If something goes wrong, then we will go with the error fetching the post, reject. Okay, save this. Now I'm going to use it in our component file. So I'm going to first import, and then I will use in the constructor with the dependency injection, and I will implement on the ng on init hook. Okay, so let's copy this and use it in our component file of the products. Okay, that is our parent one I'm using. Okay, so here we go with this, and the data on init I need to use it in the core module. So here we have the Angular core, just add this, right? And I need to update the services. Okay, so I have to already imported, right? So I need to just update with this. Okay, now here you can see, and the product something went the product. We don't require this. Okay, I need to just run it. Okay, so the promises in Angular, promises allow you to handle the asynchronous operations like the HTTP requests efficiently. Error handling, always use .cache to handle the potential errors and ensure that the users can notified of the issue. Observable versus promises, while Angular's HTTP client returns observables, converting them to the promises is simple using two promise. However, if you prefer to stick with the reactive programming, you can work with the observables instead. Whatever we have done, let's have a look. Okay, so here you can see that we have fetched the data and logged into the console. Here you can see, right? Here you can see the data is coming. If I just go with this and I will just change the request. Okay, so in my service, I will make the request with 400 like the empty this something URL. What will happen? Error. Here you can see it will return the catch block, right? Page delete to send, error fetching the post. Where it goes in the services, error fetching the post because this URL doesn't exist. So it goes to the reject, right? And it will give me that error. Okay. So this is how the promise work. Any doubt, any query in that? Do let me know in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching this video. Have a great day and don't forget to like, share and comment on my video. Have a nice day.